Hello, I'm Eileen Roach, founder of Designs in Machine Embroidery, and welcome to today's event. This is the She Shed. It is your virtual embroidery escape today. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our friends at Allbrands.com. So I would like to welcome in Barbara Chatelain. Hello, Barbara.
Hi.
How
Hi,
are
everyone.
you?
It's so great to see everyone in the comments. And hi, Eileen. We're so excited to have you today.
Oh, same here. You know, we have people from Mississippi, Oregon, oh, and my favorite town in all of America, Walla Walla, Washington.
Yay!
It's just so much fun to say that, right? But they're chatting from Texas and Ohio and Port Florida, Northport, Florida. I mean, Fort Worth, Texas, everywhere. It's awesome. You draw from all over America, allbrands.com, don't you?
Well, we're very fortunate to be in the business that we're in, and I owe it all to my parents who started Allbrands in 1976 as a mom and pop business, and the kids are now in the business, working alongside mom and pop to bring you sewing, embroidery, quilting supplies from Allbrands. So we're so excited that you're here. We hope that you will learn a lot. And we also have tons of giveaways. I have two big ones that I'm going to announce.
Okay, please do, because I know it's so exciting. We don't normally do giveaways during Dime events, so it's very generous of you and your family to offer this in today's event.
Yay. So everybody stick through to the end of this broadcast, and we'll be picking one lucky watcher in the comments to win a $100 allbrands.com e-gift card. There's also, below this video that you're watching, there's tons of deals and specials. So this, all of the specials that are being presented today are going to expire at end of day on Thursday. So anyone that shops those products and supports allbrands.com will be eligible to win a $50 allbrands.com e-gift card. So 2 chances to win.
That's awesome. It's really really generous of your family. And it is a small family. It's small family business. We see Allbrands plastered across the internet, but really all businesses are made of people. And when it's a family-run business, it is the heartblood of America, don't you think?
Yes, yes. God bless America. I hope that everyone had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend and is feeling refreshed and ready to learn more about sewing, embroidery, and quilting. And I just got to say, Designs in Machine Embroidery is so awesome. I love your products. I love you, Eileen.
Oh.
It's just, oh my gosh. If you aren't familiar with Dime products, they are fantastic.
Well, like you, we're a small business also, and we're just passionate about what we do. So I stitch just like many of these viewers, and I'm just like my customer. I embroider, I come across challenges and problems, but then I offer a solution, and that's really how our business has been built through the years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so excited. You're an amazing inventor.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm blessed to do what I do. But, I could teach this class. And Barbara, I know you could teach this class. But we are going to bring in one of our very seasoned educators at Dime, and that is Aine McCarthy. Welcome, Aine. How are you?
Eileen, I'm great. Thank you. And hello, Barbara. How is everything there?
Oh, doing great.
Aine, you've been stitching. Well, you've been sewing since you were a little girl, right?
Right. Yes, I made doll clothes when I was in. I think I remember maybe first, second grade, all by hand.
Oh my gosh! Well, no more, right? Hand's a 4-letter word here in the Dime house, right? We're all about machines and hoops and so forth. And so you started embroidering when?
I saw my first embroidery machine 21 years ago. And I was hooked. I had to have it. So I've been doing machine embroidery for 20 years, like probably a lot of us have.
I think so. I think so. Well, you have so much in store for us today. We're going to talk about hooping and placement and a lot of the challenges that we face, in the privacy of our own sewing room and really need some solutions for, right?
That's right. And Dime has them.
Yeah. Okay, Barbara, so you're going to come back in at the end of the event, right?
Yes, I'm going to be moderating the chat while you guys are telling us about the amazing solutions that you have for us. And I already see tons of people chiming in. It looks like, I have to say, Diana Mullins Atkinson says, Eileen is great, as is Dime. I started watching her on Sewing with Nancy years ago.
Yeah, lots of great memories there. I was so, really honored to work with Nancy all those years. We did 17 different programs together. And during that time, we developed a very close friendship. So I miss my dear friend for sure. And I think our industry misses her. She was kind of a guiding light in the sewing industry. Yeah.
But we have Heidi in the comments says, and I'll be moderating, so guys, get your comments in if you have any questions or anything. Heidi says she's been doing machine embroidery for 5 years and is looking forward to learning many tips and tricks and solutions today. So, yeah.
Awesome. Great. Yes. So, put your questions in the chat, and if we can answer in the chat, we will, but also we'll bring them up for Ain. We'll have 3 Q&A segments, which people really find helpful. We'll do that live. So. Okay, Barbara, let's step out of Ain's way.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Barbara. And welcome, everyone, to this special presentation from Dime and from Allbrands. Come with me, because in the next 90 minutes, we are going to escape to our she shed. And we're like, the she shed. We all know what it is because we all have one in one form or another. And we've had one long before it caught fire in some insurance commercial, believe me. The she shed, let it be the female version of the man cave, only it's better. And everybody knows it really doesn't have to be a shed. And it's not necessarily in the backyard. It's more of just a place for us, just for our sewing, just for our embroidery. Think about it, kind of like this event. It's just for us. Now, don't think that you have to have a separate big room like this to have a she shed. Maybe you just have a space in the hallway. Maybe you just have a corner of the dining room table. It really doesn't matter where you sew, because the she shed is pretty much a state of mind, maybe more than just a physical space. So we're going to build a she shed today, and we're going to use planks that will suffice for our topics that we're going to talk about. So we're going to do the S in shed for looking at ways to start that creative process going. We're going to use the H to help with challenges, because Dime is the solutions company and we've got lots of help with your embroidery challenges. The E in shed is ways that you can embroider special touches. And the D, you're going to do all this with Dime. So here's how this is going to work. You're going to watch me in the video window, and I'm going to show slides and some software demonstrations and show you some samples and some hands-on. And then we encourage you to chat. There's a chat window right next door. Make a comment. As Eileen said, ask questions, and we will stop every once in a while to answer those. And since this is a learn and shop event, you're going to have the opportunity to put things in your shopping cart at special prices for today. Now, I've got one thing to ask you, 2 things maybe. If you see that kind of yellow circle with diamond there, and then don't click that. And also where it says watch on YouTube, don't click that either. It'll take you away from us, away from the shopping platform, over to YouTube, and you won't be able to comment or do the shopping. So we want you to stay right here. So don't mistakenly click those. Here's what you're going to see underneath the video window. You're going to see a list of the products that we've selected for our event today. And then underneath each one is a green view product window. And when you click that, you can get more information about the product, and you'll be able to add it to your cart from that point. Now, think that there might be a next page or a scroll down. Just know that there's maybe 2, 3 pages, depending upon how you're viewing this. But as you add things to your cart and build your shopping cart, when you're ready to check out, be on the lookout for a window that asks you for a discount code. This is the word of the day. Save money. That is the word of the day. Save money. All one word. Type it just like it says there. And when you do that, you are going to get free shipping of all of your purchases throughout the United States. Now, we want you to shop this website only, this platform only. You're going to be able to view this and shop with these special prices for the next 48 hours. So come back, review the program, put things in your shopping cart. Don't forget that save money when you check out. But that's not all we have for you. We have a free gift for you to say thank you very much for your support of Dime and great dealers like Allbrands. We're going to give you a free design for your own she shed. It combines applique and embroidery. You can customize and embellish this to your heart's content. Scroll all the way to the end of the products, next page, or all the way to the end, and add that to your cart at no charge. So let's get started building our she shed. Let's start with that creative process. Let me ask you guys, where do you get inspiration and ideas for your projects? Do you see what others are making? Do you like doing something new? Do you just kind of sit and think and go through and look for new things? Well, here's a way that you can get an entire treasure trove of ideas. And that is Eileen's machine embroidery blog. Yes, Eileen Roach, our founder, has a blog on our website at dzgns.com full of wonderful articles and tips and techniques. She's got tips on stitching for men. There's a great story on a final touch that she put on a wedding dress. And she even gives you a technique to digitize signatures if you want to make a keepsake tablecloth or a table linen. She also gives you great ideas on her Facebook Live that she does every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Time. So this is full of ideas and new projects and new products. She's got guests and she does a lot of how-to techniques, but certainly the hallmark and the most favorite part, I think, of the Facebook Live is the program that she's offering, the Small Town Charm. These are free designs that she gives you every month, and they are all of little buildings that you might find in a small town. Charming little buildings. You can customize them and embellish them, but make sure that you post them on your social media with the hashtag #DimeSewAlong. And look at what she's given. We had a quilt shop in January, a sweet shop, then a dress shop, a flower shop in April, of course, an adorable sidewalk cafe in May, and just last week, she released the June design that's a town hall. Very fitting for the middle of the year and right in the middle of town. So let's see some samples, shall we? I just want to get right to seeing some samples. Now, this is my she shed. This is the design that you get. And I took that design, I customized it for what you will see in my she shed, and that is sewing machines all over the place and my 2 kitty cats that are always in there keeping me company. Now, I titled it Doc's She Shed because I am a veterinarian. I am retired from veterinary medicine, and now I've got a second career. But from the day that my husband met me, he couldn't pronounce my first name, so he's always called me Doc. And so that is Doc's She Shed there. And that design here gave me the inspiration to make a patch. I love making patches. And in fact, I teach sewing and embroidery at my local dealer. And so everybody that survives one of my classes, I make them a patch. You know how we used to have Girl Scout merit badges when we were little? And so I put all of mine on a tote bag. And so I'll be putting this on my tote bag. But you can also make, this design also inspired me to make a luggage tag so that when we get back to traveling, I'll be able to put this on my luggage tag wherever I go. I made this from our feature software, Perfect Embroidery Professional. And so I'll be showing you how to make that and a number of things from Perfect Embroidery Pro. Now, this is our feature software today. Perfect Embroidery Professional lets you transform any idea that you have into stitches. This is a full feature creating, editing, and digitizing software. It's easy to use because it is easy to learn. You can do just about anything, as you will see me do just about anything in 3 clicks or less. It's got more creating and editing capability than the highest of our high-end machines. You can modify designs, you can change the colors, you can merge them together. There are numerous fonts included in this software, plus fills, motifs, specialty stitches, free designs. Just a few of the hundreds of features. You can reorder the stitch sequence in your sew out. You can convert all of your files from one stitch format to another, which is especially handy if you're going to change machine manufacturers. You can even print a catalog of your designs. Those are just a few of the hundreds of features, but the ones that I love, you get free updates so that if there's increased capability or improved functionality, you get that update for free. All the technical support is US based. We have extensive online educational videos, a Facebook group, and this software is not only Windows, but also Mac compatible. Very few full feature softwares are Mac compatible. So let's see some of it, shall we? I'd like to show you the software. This is the platform of the software. This is Perfect Embroidery Professional, housed and powered by Embroidery Toolshed. And you'll see that it's all icon driven. Everything along the top and along the bottom, it's all driven by icons. Everything that you need to do is right there on that page. You don't have to open another subprogram. You don't have to toggle over to another window. So everything is right on there. So here's the She Shed design that you will be getting free of charge. Isn't that cute? Look at all the ways that you can customize this. But let me show you how I made that luggage tag. So I will go over to a new workspace and I'll just draw a luggage tag outline. So I'll draw it with a rectangle, just like that. And this is artwork, and I'm going to make it a very specific size. And you can do that just with a couple of clicks. And there it is. I'll bring it back so that everybody can see it. Now, a luggage tag has that kind of tapered end. Oh, I could draw it, but I can also draw a hexagon like that and put that right on top of my luggage tag, my rectangle. Push that in a little bit like that. And selecting both of these in my shape tool, I can weld them and just keep the outside line. And that looks like a luggage tag outline. Okay, I can now put a hole right there in the middle so that I can put the strap through. Combine all those, and with one click, I'm going to change that to an applique stitch, complete with the placement, the tack down, and the steel stitch for the outline. Just a few clicks, and now I've got a luggage tag. Time to decorate it. Let me go get that sewing machine that was from the She Shed. And just like you saw on that sample, there it is. Now I got to do a stack of 3. Now I could copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, but I've got a great editing and creating tool called the repeat tool. And that makes me a stack of sewing machines in just one click. And I can change the colors. I can, with one click, change the colors. I can rotate them so that they look a little sassy right there. And just a few clicks, and now I've got it decorated. What about my name? Got to have my name on a luggage tag. Perfect Embroidery Professional has one of the most robust text tools in any software. And I'm just going to put my name on there. Look at all of the fonts that you get with this software. Hundreds of fonts, monogram fonts, all of those in there, but I like that one. So I will put my name on there. And you can manipulate these texts, these fonts, in so many different ways. You can make them arc up, arc down. You can make them smaller. You can do the descending and the ascending with just one click. But I'm just going to do it straight up, and I'm going to drag that right over there. And boom, my luggage tag is made, and it took me just a few seconds. Isn't that fabulous? Now, I can save this in any of the stitch formats. So if I've got that luggage tag all made, then I am going to file, save as, and look at all of the stitch formats that I can save it in. So it really doesn't matter what machine manufacturer that you're sewing on, whether it be a Baby Lock, Janome, Bernina, Pfaff, Viking, Brother, all of the stitch formats are available for you. So let me go back to the slides now, and I will show you lots of other ways that you can turn your ideas into stitches. There's that tote bag that I was talking about with all of those patches and badges that I made, some of, classes that I went to and classes that I taught. My sister has this Christmas china, and I wanted to make something for her for Christmas. And so I couldn't copy the pattern, but I found a red bow from one design, mistletoe from the other one, kind of put them together so that they coordinate with this gorgeous china, and put that on napkins and towels. And it worked out great. You can digitize simple logos, such as this logo for a little bistro owned by friends of mine, and I put that on the staff aprons. You saw how easy it was to do luggage tags. You can also do quilt labels, any of your made by labels. I have a friend that works for an airline. She's a flight attendant on an airline, and so I made this luggage tag for her. I made the artist awards given out at a local nonprofit art fair and digitized their logo, put all the copy on there, and it works out so well. This is a project that I just finished. I made about 24 of these crazy quilt applique kitty cats, and I wanted to quilt them individually, but I didn't want the quilting to go around the applique. So I got the kitty cat, made an outline of the design, put a quilting motif around, and now each of those blocks has been quilted individually. And if you want to put a bat and a pumpkin on your Halloween kitty, if you want to put a heart on your Valentine kitty, or an Uncle Sam hat on your red, white, and blue kitty, you can do all of that in Perfect Embroidery Professional. So let's see some other ideas that we can put into stitches. Let me just switch trays here, and we'll go back to camera. There we go. Now, a couple of years ago, my husband rode in a fundraising for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, where they rode around Lake Tahoe all in one day, 100 miles all in one day, and he was definitely my hero. I wanted to commemorate that, so by making a towel for not only him but his teammates. And so I got a bike rider design, and I took off what I didn't want. I got the North Texas team logo, plus something that commemorates Lake Tahoe. So all of this, I had this vision, I had this idea, and Pep helped me turn it into stitches. Pep will resize designs flawlessly. This Monarch Butterfly is actually a design that is included with Pep. This is the original size. This is reduced by 50%, and this is enlarged 2 times. Look at that, flawless sew outs on each design, and that's what Pep does. You can even alter purchase designs. This is from the Christmas confections, from the Dime Design Collections, and all of these are complex fill stitches. And I just changed the snow blanket here to an applique because I had fairy frost with the sparkles and the glitters in it, and just very simply changed that out to an applique in Pep, and that was an idea turned into stitches. You can even take drawings and convert those to artwork, bring them into Pep, and convert them to applique, to complex fills, to anything that you might want to do. Now, here's an idea. I saw this design on a cookie jar, and I liked it so much, I thought, I should replicate that on a kitchen towel. It would be perfect. And I'm going to show you how I did that in just a minute. But I said that you could print a catalog. This is a catalog that you can print from Pep. These are actually the free designs that you get from Pep. And there you go. But you can also use it to print a catalog of designs that you purchased elsewhere. So this is from Embroidery Library, and you can print a catalog of all of your designs using that. So let me go back to the software, and I will get a new space here, and I will then show you. I'll bring in that, I got to get my glasses on so I can see. I'll bring in that bike rider that I used. And this is how the design came in originally. This is the way I purchased it. Well, I didn't want I just wanted the bike rider. So I can ungroup it and select just the ones that I want to take out. One key, delete, and now I've got just the bike rider. And that's what I used in that design. Look how easy it is to digitize. Wait till you see this. So if I do a file, and I'm going to grab this hibiscus, it's artwork, and I'm going to bring it onto my workspace. And all I have to do is one click, and I'm going to convert this to a fill stitch. And just, yes, in one click, all of that now is converted to a complex fill stitch. But you know what? You can change it. You can look at it, go like, the pink parts of that flower, I think I'd rather have to be a satin stitch. With one click, there it is now. It's a satin stitch. That's how easy it is to digitize. But wait, watch this one. I'm going to do the auto digitizing wizard, and I am going to pick that image of the peacock. I like that. That's a great one to digitize. And for the auto digitizing wizard, you just click next. Yep, that's what I want. That's the size I want. You click next. These are the colors it's going to put in. That's perfect. And you click next. And voila, there is the peacock, all digitized. Even the letters, look how clean those letters came out. But I always inspect my design to see how it is. But, oh, I look at, see this light purple? Everything else came in as a tatami complex fill, except this little feathers, because the computer's thinking like maybe you want that to be a satin stitch. Well, I really don't. I actually want it to be, maybe you want that as a satin stitch. I really don't. I want it to match the others, and I want it to be a tatami. So with one click, there it is, and it's all perfectly digitized. Let me show you how I made that rooster towel. This is a design that is in Perfect Embroidery Pro, and so I thought that rooster was perfect. There he is right there. So I need another rooster. So with one click, copy and paste, and they paste right on top of the original. So you just kind of pull them off to the side there. There he is. I need to turn them around and do that with one click. And I need to line them up. And I can do that with one click. And I'm going to line them up on top. Yeah, I'll line them up on the top. Okay. All right, that's good. Now, if I took this design to the sewing machine and stitched it out, it would stitch out all of the left-hand rooster first with all of the 15, 14, color changes, and then start the right-hand rooster with the same color changes. I don't want to do that. I wanted to sew out all the red ones, all the yellow, all the black all at once. So with one click, I color sort, and now all of the black sews together, all of the red sews together, and you can show yourself, prove to yourself it does by running the stitch simulator, which does show, yes. So both black parts are going to sew out, then the red. So now you don't have to do twice as many color changes. And if you look at the roosters, and if you look at the sequence view down on the lower right, you see it came in as Madeira rayon. Madeira rayon is a wonderful thread. It's absolutely gorgeous. However, if this is going to be on a kitchen towel and I'm going to launder this, I think I want a polyester thread. So I can simply go to the palette, change all of these threads to exquisite 40 weight polyester embroidery thread, And it does that in one click. So easy. Okay, let me show you that text because everybody loves to put text in a circle. And I'm going to do that. So it's good morning, and then rise and shine. Okay, I'm going to do apply, and I am going to put that in a circle, then click apply. And there it is right there. Now it's over the roosters a little bit, so I'll move it off, but you can manipulate this text all over the place. So look at the space between good and morning is a little bit too much. So I just pull those in like that. All of those little dots and dashes and triangles and things on that circle all let you manipulate that text. So I can push that out to an ellipse, drag that over on top of my roosters, and maybe rearrange it just a little bit more. There we go. And I can make that circle a little bit tighter. You can get this just exactly the way you want. And there is that towel that I designed. So easy, so cool. And I just love this of Perfect Embroidery Pro. Now, you might be thinking like, oh man, it looks easy, but how am I going to learn it? Well, we've got the answer for you today. We put together the Made Easy bundle. This is the Perfect Embroidery Professional software, plus a download of 12 of the perfectly fully illustrated lessons on our skill building workbook. Plus, with the purchase of the software, you get one-on-one lessons with me or with any of the other educators. You get 2 30-minute lessons that we do over a Zoom call to get you up and running and answer questions that you want to learn in this software. All today for $17.99. This is over $4,500 in value. Today is the day to get this, because if you do machine embroidery, you need software. So this is a great day. So I am going to, at this point, I'm going to bring Eileen back in to see if we've got any questions so far.
Well, so many people are mesmerized by the software. In fact, one of them said she's learned more in these past 30 minutes than she has in 2 years about embroidery software. Well, first off, they loved your patches, particularly when you started to show those patches and how you make that luggage tag. That was awesome. But Brenda said, Brenda Snyder, she has the software, and she said, doesn't use PEP to its fullest potential. So I thought we would just maybe share some words of wisdom. The best way to really get familiar with your software is to use it, right, Aim?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can't break software. So just go in there and, open a new file and play. Use the drawing tools. Bring in an embroidery design, and then just do save as test 1, save as test 2. Can't break anything. And then when you're done with that lesson, delete all those test versions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Go in and just say like, okay, today I'm going to learn how to change a color, and I'm going to learn how to delete something.
Right.
And then do it. Yeah.
And then learn how to copy and paste, how to use that repeat tool. And, then when you get in the property box and you want to learn, how to change the width of a satin or the density, exaggerate the number. Go really extreme so you can see the change that the software makes. And then, scale it down to a realistic number. That's Absolutely. What I like to do.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And one of the great features, unlimited undo, so that if you think you make a mess out of something, just undo it back to and start all over.
Start all over. No big deal. And if you want to go back to where you were, well, you can redo. You can go forward also.
Exactly.
Yeah, but, so is it Mac compatible? You did answer that. I just wanted to make sure people knew it was Mac compatible, and there is no Mac tax. It's, no additional fee for Mac users. And then one of our viewers wanted to know about updates. Or, do you have to repurchase the software, or let's say when Microsoft comes out with a new operating system, that kind of thing?
No, all of the updates are free. And what's really cool about Perfect Embroidery Pro and all the Dime software is that you get a prompt. When you open the software, you get a little box that says, hey, there's a new update available. Do you want to install? So you don't have to go to a website and search to make sure that you have the updated version.
Right. And so, that's really handy. And you have the choice, to update or not. We always suggest that you do, because many updates are just keeping you compatible with Microsoft or Apple's latest versions. But sometimes we include new features, new embroidery designs, and even sometimes fonts, right? There's like
Yes.
Easter eggs, little treats throughout the year for all of the users.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of support. Like, we have a Facebook group, and folks on there are helping each other, and we're in there. Many of the educators are in there helping and posting short videos if someone is really stumped, that kind of thing. So, don't feel, I often feel machine embroidery is a solitary sport, but today here we are virtually gathering, and we most certainly can do that on social media too. Let's see. Yeah. And of course, some people are asking if there's, specific features and so forth, but this isn't the place for that. So, but Ella Billy has been getting update messages, but she hasn't done it yet. So she'll do it after the show. That's a good, wise step. Yeah. You'll just be more compatible with all of your operating systems. Okay, I think we are pretty good. Boy, Barbara is in the chat. She's doing a great job answering a lot of questions. Oh, and they are so creative as to where they sew, where their she shed is. I mean, some have an entire floor, some have a bedroom, some have half of the dining room and a sewing room. And I was wondering, do they eat in the other half of the dining room? Does she let her husband eat in the other half of the dining room, right? It's awesome.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Aina, I know you have lots more to share. So
I do, and I can't wait. So let's go on. And you know what, you guys, as long as I'm talking about computery stuff, I've got a question for you. Do your embroidery files on your computer look like this, where it's just a list of an alphanumeric and the file extension, and it's really impossible to find out which one of these is the Christmas butterfly? You need your embroidery files to look like this. And yes, now I can find the Christmas butterfly easy. You can with Perfect Stitch Viewer. This is an embroidery file icon viewer. It shows an icon, a little picture of your embroidery design instead of the file name. It's so much easier to find your designs. You can sort them. It works with all embroidery stitch formats, so you don't have to worry which format you're in. Perfect Stitch Viewer will work. This is what you will see when you have Perfect Stitch Viewer. You'll see a little thumbnail, the name of the file, the number of stitches, how many color changes, the size, everything about it, even where it is on your computer. You can even see SVG files on Perfect Stitch Viewer. This is a standalone software. It works in the background. Don't think they have to open it every time that you turn on your computer. As long as you are looking at your files in Windows File Explorer, then you'll see these. It's compatible with Mac and with Windows. As Eileen said, all the updates are free. And because we always need designs, it comes with 20 free designs. So it's a great price for you to sort and see your embroidery files, less than $80. So grab this and put this in your cart. And as Eileen said, anytime that you need help with software questions, Dime software questions, we have a Facebook group called Dime Inspiration Software Users. So ask to join, we will let you in, and it's monitored by not only Dime moderators, but also well-known experts throughout the country. So let's go on building our she shed. Let's go to our next plank, our next topic, which is help with challenges. This is a big one because Dime is the solutions company, and we want your shed to be and stay your happy place. The place to enjoy your hobby, because you know that you've got the tools to help solve any embroidery challenge that you might run across. One of the areas that we always need help is hooping properly and getting the right hooping tools. So we've got some help for hard to hoop items, and we've got some tools that will help you with consistent, accurate hooping all the time. And the first one, I'll tell you, I don't care if you've been embroidering for 20 years or 20 minutes. Everybody can benefit from the information in this book, the Hoop It Up Guide to Hooping. And we're so lucky because we have the author with us today as our co-host. So I'm going to ask Eileen to come back in. Eileen, I love this book. I am never far away from it. You've got so many tips for success in here. Tell us about this book.
Yeah. Well, there's 99 tips, and I co-wrote this with my stitching sister, Marie Zeno, who is a commercial embroiderer. So she works in an entirely different way than I do. She's on a tubular machine, a multi-needle machine, and I work on a single needle machine. So we tackled how to hoop everything from T-shirts to the cuff of a man's dress shirt to hats on both different machines, sneakers, you name it. And also in the back of the book, you get some really handy tools. You get an angle finder and target rulers and target stickers. Now, what's a target ruler? Well, it has 0 as the center point. So it makes measuring for embroidery really easy to do. We're always trying to find the center, right, Aim?
Always.
Yeah. So
That's great. I absolutely love this book. So grab this. It's a great price and you will be amazed. Here's something that we always need help with, and that is stitching multiples, whether it be towels or T-shirts or napkins, making sure that that design lands in the right place, the right towel or napkin every time. So let's hoop a few items and I will show you what I mean and the tools to help you do that. So let's say that I am going to embroider on a terry cloth towel. Let's say I'm going to do a monogram or something like that. And I'm not going to do just one. I'm going to do a set of them. So these are just your regular old terry cloth towels. And I have marked the center simply by folding it in half with this pin. Now I want to make sure that the center is marked on the same place every time, every towel, but without measuring. And you would do that with a template. We use a lot of templates in machine embroidery, and this one is named Hand Towel with Border, and that's exactly what I have here. It's a hand towel and it's got a border on it. So I've got the right template. It's got lines that you use to line up. This line says put this line at the top of the border, and then there's crosshairs where you would line up on the center, and then you would pick the target sticker, which is a directional temporary sticker, and you would mark the center just like that. And that's so easy to do. One simple thing and you are ready to hoop. So with that then, let's hoop this. And I want to show you, this is the hoop mat from Dime. This is a silicone mat that has a printed grid on this. I keep this at my hooping station, and it helps by keeping that bottom frame in place. And I will show you. But first I want to show you, this is basically the game changer. This is our snap hoop monster. It's got these 3 pieces. The top frame here has the strong magnets in it. The hoop shield should be stored between the top and the bottom frame. When it's in storage, you don't sew with it. This is the bottom frame. It's metal, and this is where it attaches to the machine. So this is where the hoop mat comes into play. So it grips this bottom frame, whether it be a metal hoop or a standard hoop, and it's not sticky, but it just creates enough friction so that when I bring my stabilizer over and I bring my towel over, I am not chasing that bottom frame all over my hooping station. So I'll show you the hoop mat in just a little bit. So now I'm ready to hoop my towel, and I place it right over the bottom frame, and I'm going to bring my top frame over, and I'm going to drop the left part down first because I want to make sure that this frame with the magnets sits flush on top of the bottom metal frame for maximum hold and security. So this way I can move it this way or this way to get it in line. And I can actually feel the bottom frame underneath there. And then when I'm ready and all lined up, I just drop that in place and I am ready to go, ready to stitch. Now, what if, again, hooping difficult items, what if I am doing a napkin on point? Let's say I'm going to monogram a napkin on point, dinner napkins. You're certainly not going to do just one. You're going to do a set, maybe 4, 6, 8. And you want to make sure that that design is in the same place every time. And again, you could do that without measuring, by using a template. This one for napkin on point, and all of these are in our perfect placement kit. So easily line that up with the alignment lines, the opening in the middle, you put your target sticker, and you are ready to go. It's in the same place every time without measuring. Now, when I hoop this, I am not going to hoop it on the diagonal. I am going to hoop it on the square because I want as much of that napkin held in that hoop as possible. So I will show you that. So let's say, so this is my napkin. It magically changed colors, but I've got it marked for the monogram. And if you'll notice, I've prepped it with stabilizer, and I've left the stabilizer peek out past the edges of the napkin. So I will bring my 4x4 hoop over again. I'll just put that metal frame underneath, lay my napkin on top, and I want to make sure that the edges of the napkin are on that metal frame. So I'll do a little peekaboo here, a little peekaboo there, and I am ready then to bring over my top frame, and I'm going to drop that in place. Now, if you look, now wait, but my design is rotated like this. This is how it's going to go on the machine, but my design is rotated. Well, you get this brilliant angle finder. It looks like the compasses that we used to use in grade school, right? Well, it's got all of the degrees of the circle printed all the way around it, and then the top rotates around this grommet. So I'm going to put that right over the target sticker right there with the 0 at the top, and then I can rotate the top until this red arrow is right in line with the target sticker directional arrow. And it's pointing to something like a little about 310, 312, something like that. Let's call it 311. Split the difference. That is the number then that you will go to your machine and rotate that design clockwise 311 degrees. And when you do that, it is perfectly lined up with the angle on that target sticker. Just so easy. I'll go back to the slides and I'll show you the items that we use. You saw the hoop mat. Again, this is a silicone mat. It's got that printed grid. It's useful for magnetic standard hoops. It's so easy to keep that bottom hoop in place. It's also easy to roll up and store so that you can take it to class. Great price, so grab a hoop mat and put that in your cart for sure. But again, this is the game changer. The Snap Hoop Monsters are the 2-piece magnetic hoop, strong magnets. You can use them for quilt sandwiches, any type of a quilt with your embroidery machine, baby snap suits, t-shirts, terry cloth, sweatshirts, anything that's heavy or bulky or difficult to hoop. If you're going to do continuous hooping, you know, say that you're going to put an embroidery right next to one that you've already embroidered. You don't want to smash that in a standard hoop. The Snap Hoop Monster to the rescue. And lots of times, especially on these wet, rainy days, your hands can't do those screw clamps. So these will save your life. And I'm going to go back to Eileen because she's got a bigger camera and she can show you how a Snap Hoop Monster will hold even the thickest of terry cloth towels.
Yeah, you know, I like to give a snap hoop what I call the hoop test. So, you know, I hoop my item and then I just hold it up by the item and I give it a good shake. And that way I know once I put this on the machine, the two elements, the magnetic top and bottom metal frame, are not going to separate. And if they do, let's say I'm in I have a large beach towel or a quilt that's hooped, then I know it's because I haven't handled the bulk of the fabric. Mm-hmm. And that's what's dragging on the machine and the hoop and separating them. You know, someone in the chat wanted to know, what size hoop should I get? Well, that's the $1 million question, right? Yeah. So
right.
If you're a quilter, then I would suggest you buy the largest hoop for your machine. If you don't do a lot of quilting, then I would take a moment to analyze what is your go-to hoop? What size do you seem to gravitate to? Is it the 5x7, the 4x4, maybe the 8x8? one of those sizes, and then get that same size in a monster hoop, because most of your projects will be accommodated in that size hoop. But I love a 5x7 for almost all embroidery, towels, t-shirts, even children's wear. And I like my great big hoops for quilting. So if you can get two, these are great prices. I would suggest, you take advantage of that if you're a quilter.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Eileen. In fact, here's some shopping tips for hoops. You will see them listed alphabetically by machine manufacturer underneath the video window. So look first for the Brother, the Baby Lock, the Janome, the Bernina. Then underneath, click the green View Product, and you will get more information on machine models under that manufacturer and what sizes are available. They're also available for multi-needle machines, so if you're in the market there. And don't forget that free ship code, Save Money, all one word. So let's go on to placement aids, getting that design in the right place every time. You saw me use target stickers. These are temporary stickers with a directional crosshair to help you designate the center of the design for needle positioning. I always have a box of these handy. I use them for so many different things, and they always end up, they're probably on the bottom of a half a dozen pairs of shoes that I have, but they are great for everything. In machine embroidery, we use templates a lot. Templates help us position or audition our design. We have hoop templates that came with our standard hoops. We use design templates which print an image of our design on special paper. And you saw me use item templates, templates that help you position the center of your design. The ones that I used are in the Perfect Placement Kit. There are 15 of these plastic templates in this kit that allows you to get perfect placement of designs on napkins, towels, shirt cuffs, left chest, and more. And they're plastic and they're reusable. So this is a must for your sewing room. Grab this for less than $36. You saw me use the one for towels. There's one for bath towels without borders, a number of those. You saw me use the napkin on point one. Those two are included. What about the angle finder? Where is that? Remember, that was the compassy thing that I used. Where is that? Well, that is, as Eileen said earlier, that is in the Hoop It Up book. So that's one of the embroidery positioning tools you get in the Hoop It Up book. It's also included in the embroidery toolkit, which is something that should be in everybody's embroidery room. There are 15 different placement tools in the embroidery toolkit. You get target stickers. You also get text stickers, which are longer when you have to line up long lines of text. You get the centering rulers with the 0 in the middle, target rulers that help you find the center of odd-shaped items. You get hoop shields. So these are plastic shields that go over your hoop when you're using spray adhesive to prevent that overspray. And the angle finder is in there. So now it's time to start talking about stabilizers. And since we were doing towels, let's talk about stabilizers for towels. Towels with a nap or a pile or a deep weave, just like the terry cloth one that I was showing. We all know the macro categories of stabilizers are named for how you remove it from your project. Do you tear it away? Do you cut it away? Or is it soluble with either air, water, or heat? Tearaway stabilizer is for stable fabrics. And I know we've all kind of heard the saying that if you wear it, don't tear it. It's not always a hard and fast rule. Understand the mechanics. It's better to know the mechanics. So tearaway stabilizer is for fabrics that are stable, that don't stretch. Wovens, quilting cottons, canvas, broadcloths, toweling, linens are all stable fabrics because they don't stretch. You need a tearaway. A firm tearaway is crisp and it's easy to tear from your project. We have a light tearaway in our event inventory today. It's firm, it's crisp, it tears neatly and cleanly away from your project. It's good for low density stitch counts, hence the name light. That's what that refers to. And it's a great choice to float. If you need an extra layer of stabilizer on some of these stitch heavy designs, great choice to float. We've got a great price for the light tearaway, so grab that one. And everybody knows that if you're going to embroider anything with texture or pile or nap, you need a topping. You need a water-soluble topping. Now, this isn't a stabilizer. It doesn't go in the hoop. You put it on top of your embroidery field so that the stitches don't sink into something like velour or corduroy or a piqué or a waffle weave. A lot of towels have that. Sweaters, fleece, you got to have a topping. It prevents the stitches from sinking down, keeps them up on the surface. So we've got water-soluble topping for you today. And I've got a tip for removing the water-soluble topping. Now, this is the way it's going to look when it comes off the machine. And certainly you're going to tear away the larger pieces of the topping, but invariably some of it will be left in the curly cues and in the small spaces. Now, it's water soluble, so yes, you could grab your water sprayer and just douse it, and yes, that topping is going to go away. But I bet this is 15 minutes before you're leaving for the baby shower, and you have to have a gift that's not sopping wet. Well, do this instead. Get a paper towel and dampen that, and put that over the embroidery and iron it, press it with a medium iron, and all of the topping bits are going to come away with the towel. Now you can wrap it up and go to the shower. We also need help for embroidery on towels. Here's one way: add a nap blocker stitch. And this is a stitch that's a loose fill stitch that flattens the nap or the pile so that your design is more visible. And it's easier for me to kind of show you a sample so that you can understand it. So this is an embroider buddy. So this is a plush animal that has a zipper at the bottom, and you unzip this and there's a stuffing pod that you can take out and you can embroider the tummy. And let me hit one button on this camera and see if it will come in. Okay. This is plush, and you can see in the background there is a loose fill stitch that is behind the text and the character. It keeps the plush down so that you can easily see the text and the character's face and even the flowers. You can use this on terry cloth towels just like this. It's perfect when you've got a thin font that you're using and you can just barely see the nap blocker stitch behind. That's the purpose. You want to stitch that in a color that matches your background so that you don't see it. Perfect for a really fine font like that, or if you have an open, thin, filigree type of airy design. Perfect for a nap blocker stitch. Now here's a sample, and this is a little piece of a baby blanket, and that's a little bit better. And it's just a white plush like that. And this design was stitched with a nap blocker, and you can see it in the background. I sewed it in white thread. You can easily see the text and the heart. This one, same design, same machine, same stabilizer, does not have a nap blocker, and you can barely read it. And in fact, it looks like it's off register, when in fact it's not. That's just pieces of the white fluff poking up between the outline and the satin stitch of the font. So definitely you want this as your choice. So let's see how easy it is to do that in Perfect Embroidery Professional. So I'm going to go to that. I'll open that pretty baby design. There it is. And in fact, this is included in PEP. And with one click, I am going to go to my utility menu and create a nap blocker. And I'm going to make it just that you have a choice on how far away to make it. I'm just going to change that to a 2. And in one click, that green stitch that you see there is the nap blocker. It automatically is placed first in the stitch sequence so that it sews out first. Couldn't be easier. Now, if you're wondering, I only have about 15-20 minutes before I have to leave for that baby shower. Can I get this done? I love this feature in PEP. You don't have to take it to your machine and have your machine time it. In the design analysis, you've got a number of tabs. And if you go to production, on my Brother Luminaire at 900 stitches per minute, with 8-second color changes, I can get that done in 12 minutes and 29 seconds. So yes, I've got time to sew that out. So there you go in the design analysis. So let's go back. And we're going to keep talking about stabilizers. But before we talk about stabilizers that we would need for knits, I'm going to ask Eileen to come back in and see what questions we have and answers we can provide.
Okay. Well, Diane, actually, anyway, Diane Atkinson wants to know, what stabilizer do you recommend when stitching a cuddle or a fleece?
If it's a fleece, that is more of sometimes it's a knit and it's unstable. So I will use a cutaway on that. I'll use a fusible cutaway on that.
Sure. And the cuddles a lot of the cuddles are stretchy, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, they're just lovely. Well, we had an interesting question from somebody that Deborah Jones piped in to answer. She wondered if there was silicone in our stabilizers. And in fact, they're included in many stabilizers because it helps lubricate the needle. But there isn't a follow-up as to why she inquired. Some people, I guess, maybe are allergic to silicone or just interested in knowing, the properties of the stabilizer.
Yes.
So far, they just love, what all you're doing. We've had a lot of questions about the software. And one is, what formats does it save in? So maybe next time you're in the software, if you could just do that drop-down menu so they can see all those formats. There's over 30. Yes. And they should also know that that's another reason to update your software, because as the machine companies update their formats or offer a new one, so do we, because we want to be compliant with what they are currently offering. So it's another good reason to update your software and just, stay on top of it. So let's see. And what stabilizer do you use for taffeta, heavy satin, and velvet? Do you have, are you going to be talking about Deborah Jones's secret weapon?
That embroiderer's compass is coming up really soon.
Yeah. Because that's, you can have our consumable manager, Deborah Jones, right in your sewing room 24/7. And I'll tell you, it sits on my work surface. It's always there. It's my number one reference. So in it, and Aim's going to tell you about it, but you're going to find all the recommendations for both stabilizers and needles for all types of fabric.
That's right. That's right.
Great. Thanks, Aim.
Oh, you bet. And in fact, before I forget, because I always forget, let me go back to the software and I'll just bring up that pretty baby, that design that we just did. And I will show when you're going to get ready to do a file save as. Look at all of the formats that are available. So various Brother Baby Lock editions. I'm seeing Viking, the VP3, VP4, VIP, even the Genome and the, what am I thinking of? Bernina, FOF, all of the formats. There's what Eileen was talking about, 30 plus different formats. So it doesn't matter what machine manufacturer you are on, this software will save us into a stitch format that is compatible. So there we go. I hope that answers that question right there. So let's keep talking about our stabilizers.
I'm just going to pop in with you for a minute, because it also saves in commercial formats and all long arm formats. So if you're a quilter, you can cover all your bases with this software.
That's
now
right.
I'm going to step out of your way.
You're welcome. Thanks for that. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about stabilizers for knits. We talked about tearaway being for stable fabrics such as wovens. Cutaway is the big category that you're going to choose for unstable fabrics. And when I mean unstable fabrics, fabrics that stretch or distort when you manipulate them. So of course we think knits, t-shirts, baby suits, sweatshirts, anything that is a knit. Fleece is a knit. Stretch fabrics that are woven with a stretch fiber or an elastane or a spandex fiber, like stretch cotton, stretch wool, stretch denim. You want to choose cutaway, and you, especially for knits, you want to prep the fabric to neutralize that distortion by fusing a cutaway on the back, and that is our fusible no-show. That should be your choice. This is a soft, sheer, translucent nylon. It's got that embossed pattern that we're all familiar with. It's got a low melt adhesive on one side so that you would fuse that to the wrong side for temporary stabilization. And you're going to cut a piece of no-show big enough to extend to your hoop. A lot of people make the mistake of just cutting a piece as big as the design. No, you want to hoop this. You want to put this in your hoop. It's a low melt adhesive so that when you're done, you simply hit it with an iron again, melt it, and then you can peel it up and trim it away. Piece of cake. What I love about it is that we've all seen guys and gals golf shirts, especially the light colors that have that big patch of non-woven cutaway that you can see right through the shirt. Doesn't happen with fusible no-show. It stabilizes knits and other unstable fabrics. So you fuse it to lightweight wovens also for added body, or if you're doing heavy stitch counts, it helps support those stitches. So we've got it in our event inventory today. So grab that, you're going to need it. And don't forget that free ship code, Save Money, which is what you're doing today. This is one of my favorite products because it has so many different uses. This Fuso Soft is a light tricot with a permanent fusible coating. This you add to fabrics to add body and support. I'm working right now on a silk embroidered quilt, and I'm adding that to the back of my fabric to prevent raveling. You can also put it on quilt blocks if you're going to do embellishment techniques. This is what you fuse to the back of your t-shirt pieces when you're doing a t-shirt quilt. You can also cover the back of embroidery for comfort for sensitive skin, especially on baby garments, especially if you use metallic thread. So the Fuso Soft is in our inventory today, so grab that. And here's a tip. You can, let's say that you've sewn something out and maybe the bobbin grab for a couple of stitches, and it's not enough that you're going to tear it out, but you just want to make sure that those stitches are secure. So put some Fuso Soft and fuse that on the back, and that will hold any of those loose stitches. So let's talk about some other essential tools for the She Shed, and that is tools that help. We all need help keeping our thread organized. So how about this bundle of exquisite 40 weight embroidery thread in 60 of our best colors? These are 1,000-meter spools and a thread rack to put them on. Couldn't be easier. So we've got this great price for this bundle today. And if you run a multi-needle, or maybe you have a business, or maybe you just love doing machine embroidery like I do, then consider using the larger cones, the 5,000-meter cones for economics. We've got 30 spools in this pack, our best colors, for less than $180, $179.99. If you do the math, these are less than $6 a cone. Fabulous deal. We love doing that. We also are finally at the embroiderer's compass. So everybody that has a question about, oh, I got taffeta, what am I going to stabilize it with? What do I use for this stabilizer? Then you need the embroiderer's compass. This was invented by our own Deborah Jones. And this is a two-sided wheel that rotates, and it's got cutout windows. So you put the arrow on the fabric that you are embroidering, and then in the cutout windows is Deborah Jones' recommendation for a stabilizer, for the needle, and any other tips or techniques that she has to help you sew that. So there's 27 different combinations and techniques. Great time to get the embroiderer's compass. And in fact, I have two of them. I keep one with my stabilizers, and I always have one to go to class with, because I've always got that question on, what do I stabilize? How do I stabilize this with? So embroiderer's compass is your answer. Here's another essential tool. Everyone has had the mishap of some of the excess of our fabric or a project falling into the sewing field and have it eaten by the machine. And if this hasn't happened to you, just wait, it will. And here's a way to prevent that mishap. Hoop guards, they create a barrier between the needle and the extra fabric. We've got them for standard hoops, and we have them for our snap hoop monsters. You can see on this picture there, embroidering a big bath towel, how that hoop guard sets up a barrier to keep that roll that's rolled up in the throat of the machine out of the sewing field. This is one of my favorite new products, and that is the sticky hoop. Now, this is a one-piece metal hoop, and you use it by loading adhesive stabilizer on the back. It holds your embroidery projects without using a top frame. So if you've got bulky items, weird shaped items, those plush animals, slippers, zipper cases, this will be your go-to. There's 25 pre-cut sheets of adhesive tearaway included with every sticky hoop. And we have some new sizes. We've got additional manufacturers for Bernina, for Janome, and for Viking. All of these come with pre-cut sheets of tearaway stabilizer and centering rulers. So shall we take a look at these? These would be great. Let me take a look at these. Get the right hoops here. And there we go. Okay, so this is the sticky hoop. And this is where it attaches to the machine. And you can see that these are the pre-cut sheets of tearaway adhesive that come with it. You get 25 of these. And I've started by putting the adhesive stabilizer on the back. And you just score and you'll remove the protective paper. So this is the sticky part showing right through there. So if I want to do a cosmetic case like this, pretend it's not already embroidered, I simply open it up, flip it right on there, and I can press and I'm ready to embroider. You can tell that if I was going to bring over the top frame, that is not going to work on that. So if you are going to do our friend, the embroider buddy, this one also, you would just open him up and you would put him right on there, get his arms and legs out of the way, and he sticks on there and you can embroider his little tummy without the top frame coming in. Slippers like these with the Velcro are a wonderful gift, and you just open those up, put those right on there, and you are ready to go, ready to embroider without interfering with the top frame. Even if you're doing edge stitching, like on this one, on this napkin, I did a lace design that was edge stitched here. I can put that right on the sticky hoop without a top frame, and I can stick that and stitch that, and I am ready to go. Let me also show you the hoop guard. The hoop guard for the magnetic hoops looks like this. So it fits underneath the top frame, and I've got this one set up. This is a onesie that is hooped, and look at all of the embroidery field you would have. This is the 4x4 snap hoop monster with a hoop guard down at this end, and you can put big embroidery on here instead of having that all kind of fought with tape, with painter's tape and clip and everything. You are ready to go. So those are our essential tools. And here's another one that is just ingenious, the totally tubular hooping station. This is also new. This is a two-sided platform that is cantilevered. The platforms are cantilevered. It has a non-slip surface that holds the bottom frame of your hoop, and you would slide tubular items. Think, t-shirts, things, items that are in the round. So it's easy to hoop t-shirts and baby suits, tote bags. It works with snap hoop monsters and standard hoops. And on one side is an 8x13 surface, and you flip it over and you have a larger 13x13 surface with the non-slip mats. So the video really is the best way to see this. So I am going to show this video. Here's the totally tubular hooping station with the bottom frame of the snap hoop monster, and over comes a t-shirt. That's the neck that you're seeing right there. And you arrange it, get it all set, ready to go. The target sticker is right there. Over comes the top frame, and it's ready to go to the machine just that quickly and just that easily. So let's go to the next one. Look how it will hoop a tote bag with a standard hoop. So in this video, you will see the hooping station. the bottom frame of a hoop, and the tote bag comes over on the top of it. And from the side, you can see the tote bag kind of hanging down underneath it. There you go. And you don't have to worry about it, bringing the side up, nesting it. You simply hoop it and you are ready to go and ready to take that to the machine, nest it, and ready to sew it. It is so easy to hoop some of these tubular items with the hooping station. So grab that and put that in your cart. But let's also, for the last couple of minutes, let's talk about needles. Now, I am going to get a little technical here, but I think if you understand some of the parts of the needle and how the needles have a great impact and influence on your embroidery results, because it's kind of important to understand why what happens. So let's just do a little bit of needle anatomy. First, talk about the blade size. And this is the part of the needle that's underneath the shank where it attaches to the machine. Now, we're all familiar with the numbers that correspond to the size of the blade. The higher the number, the bigger the needle, the bigger the blade. So for 65/9, that's the lightest blade of embroidery needle we should use. We use that for microfiber, or for performance materials, or for fine thread sizes. You don't want to use your automatic threader for these, then eye is just too small to hit it most of the time. 75/11 is the most common size of embroidery needle that we use because it's good for a wide range of fabric types. A little bit heavier needle that you may not be familiar with is that intermediate size 85/13. Use that for denim or for items made with heavier or slubby yarns. The 90/14 is heavier still, and it's the heaviest embroidery blade that we should be using. Now, this is what you're going to use on caps, webbing, think dog collars, canvas, or if you're doing embroidery over seams, like think of a jean seam. A true welt seam like that is going to have 5-6 layers of denim. Use your 90/14. Another important part of the needle anatomy is the groove, and this is that shallow trough on the front of the needle that guides the thread to the eye. And it's important that that thread be guided with control, and that groove matches the thread. So if you've got a heavy thread, a thick thread, you need a wider groove and a larger blade. But more importantly, if you're using a fine thread, you need a narrower groove, and those are found on smaller blades. The point is also important. Most embroidery needles are a light ballpoint, and as a ballpoint needle won't damage knits, it doesn't penetrate woven fabrics as cleanly as a sharp needle. Sharp needles have a smaller footprint, so they go more cleanly and easily into woven fabrics and out of. And that out of stroke is also just as important as that penetrating stroke. So here's an extreme close-up of a knit fabric. Now you can appreciate the fact that this is made with interlocking and continuous yarns, continuous threads. So a ballpoint needle will simply push those threads aside without damage. If you use a sharp point needle on knits, then you run the risk of cutting one of those fibers, and now you got a hole, you could start a run, it could start to unravel. However, a sharp point is perfect for woven fabrics because they cleanly penetrate a woven fabric. Know that quilting cottons love sharp point needles. And look at the difference between these two pictures. On the top, this is a woven fabric. It's in a tightly woven fabric, it looks like what you would found on a fishing shirt. That was stitched with a sharp point needle, and the one below was stitched with a ballpoint needle. So they can contribute to puckering, especially on wovens, but so can a dull needle. So make sure that you change your needle probably at the start of every project, because on the left, you see a brand new needle, and on the right, you see one that's slightly used. And so you can appreciate, I understand why that causes puckering. So have the right needle on hand with the needle sampler pack. You get 100 needles in an assortment of blade types and point types, blade sizes and point types. These are all chrome plated, and you can get these for a great price for 100 needles. Let's look at another challenge that we have, and that is embroidering small text, getting excellent results with small text. Look at these little boots and the small text and how gorgeous they look. And yes, how gorgeous you can do a small text. Did you know you can embroider on shoes? That's fabulous. So you see this small text on quilt labels, on baby garments, on recipe towels, other linens, left chest embroidery, monograms. How do we make sure we get good results? And I'm going to talk about microfonts, which are small text. These are characters that are less than a ½ inch in height. And I know what happens. We type out our text in a standard font and it's too big. Ooh, it's 8 inches. So you just grab that resize handle, you squeeze it down to 3 inches. Oh, it's going to fit my quilt label. And you sew it out. And what does it look like? It is ugly. For excellent results, you need the right font, you need the right thread, and you need the right needle, and you need all three of those. Here's why this happens. When you just take a standard font and reduce it, the column width of the letter ends up to be too narrow and the lettering sinks down into the fabric and you can't read it. Fonts that are specifically digitized to be small have more appropriate column and stroke widths so that that lettering sits up on the fabric surface and you can read it. When digitizers make a standard font, they use what we call a wire frame, which is kind of their guide as to where to put the needle drops. And on an A, like you see here, they deliberately overlap the needle drops so that you get good coverage. Now, when you grab the resize handle and shrink that down, yes, it recalculates the stitches, but those overlap points are still there. So that's where you're going to get thread breaks. That's where you're going to get knots and maybe even needle breaks. You need a font specifically digitized for small text because they don't overlap as much. Where do you get those? You get those in PEP. You get those in Perfect Embroidery Professional. There are 11 fonts included specifically digitized for small lettering. Easy to find because they got a little orange M for micro in front of them. Okay, we got the right font. What about the right thread? You get good results by using a thinner thread, a finer thread, a 60 weight. The higher the number, the thinner the thread. Our fine line by Exquisite is our 60 weight thread. There's a box in our event today with 15 colors, all the colors that you'll need for a quilt label in 1,500 meter spools. And if you do that, that's a great price on thread. What's that? $340, $360 a cone. All right, now we got the right font, we got the right thread. How about the right needle? Remember, we said that you want to use a thinner thread. You need a lighter blade needle. So get that 65.9 or the 75.11 and a sharp point if you're going to be embroidering on wovens. So I will show you some examples of doing small text. So here's what I mean. So here's a card, and these are actual fonts from Perfect Embroidery Pro stitched at 6 millimeters. So that's 1/4 of an inch, 1/6 of an inch, and 1/8 of an inch. And you can see it and you can read it, and it is gorgeous. So those are the fonts included in PEP. Recipe towels use a small font, just like this. So if you're doing recipe towels, you need those micro fonts. The dime doors from last year featured a number of doors that had small text on them. This one was from July with the Crab Shack. And I taught a class at my sewing center where it was an exercise in small text. So we did a little fabric postcard, howdy from Texas and all that. So this is what it is supposed to look like. Sewn out with a 40 weight thread. So this is the same text. So I got the right font, but I have too heavy of a thread and I don't have the right needle, either in size or point type. So you can see here how there's loops in the stitches. It's thick, it's hard to read. And I mean, look at the difference here. And it finally got so balled up, it just shredded the thread, broke it, and I was done. This is what you want it to look like. So this is the same text with a 7511 sharp needle. And this is the same text with a 65-9 sharp needle. This is what you want your quilt labels and your recipe towels to look like. So remember, you need the right font, the right thread, and the right needle. So let's just finish up with our last plank, embroidering special touches. And this hobby is all about personalization. One of the ways that you can do personalization is changing a plain old t-shirt like this into something like this that's gorgeous. And you can do that with the t-shirt remakes by Eileen Roach and Nancy Zeman, transforming necklines, hemlines, and sleeves with any one of these 3 collections. All machine formats are supported. You just need a 5x7 hoop and you can do beautiful work. Here's another new software that allows you to do some personal touches, and that is My Pet Emoji. You can design and stitch your own pet avatars, and these are digital representations of a pet. They combine raw edge applique. There's over 100 dog breed options and 50 cat shapes and heads in there. And you can do badges and patches and mug rugs and little wall hangings like I did for the Caddick window. And here's one of my kitty cats, Buzz, and I'm working on his avatar right there. Not sure if I should put that maybe on his luggage tag, carrying. And Mary Larson on Facebook allowed me to share these pictures of her dog Duncan and what she did in My Pet Emoji. And I think she nailed it, to the blue eyes and to the freckles on his nose. It's absolutely perfect. So thank you, Mary. We put together a bundle for you with the Pet Emoji software and 3 lessons that Eileen Roach has written for you to learn this software, and with some exclusive designs and techniques that she puts together in this package. And we're going to include 12 of our vintage 40-weight embroidery thread. This has got a matte finish, so that we thought it was perfect for the fur and the hair and the whiskers for these pets. So I'm just going to show it to you really quickly, how fun this is. And if I go to My Pet Emoji, and you'll see that, look at all of the dog heads that come up here. So all of these are included in the software. So find your dog, find your maybe your grand dogs, and make some cool little items for this. You can change the eyes, which of course are the soul of the dog. You can put a hat on them. You can put sunglasses on them. You can have a good time with them. So cats too, also with the cats. So lots and lots of cat breeds and cat heads and color patterns. And this is applique. So you can do whatever fabrics you want for these kitty cats. Batiks would be gorgeous, I think, in some of these applique functions. So that is My Pet Emoji software. And I also want to remind you about the Perfect Embroidery Pro Made Easy bundle, which you buy the software and you get the lessons, the 12 skill building workbook lessons, and 2 sessions with me or with an educator for $17.99. And that is the buy of the day. So with that, I'm going to say, look at what we did. We built our she shed. We saw a lot of ways that we could start the creative process. Lots and lots of tools and techniques to help us with the challenges that we face every day. Ways to embroider some special touches. And we did it all today with dye. So with that, I'm going to bring Eileen back in and also bring Barbara back in, because I think Barbara has a little surprise.
But before we get to Barbara, we had someone ask, what is the Skill Builder workbook? That's Julia Hanley or Harley. And I just wanted to show her, these are all of the workbooks. There's 12 different lessons. Actually, there's 13. And it walks you through Perfect Embroidery Pro. All of the features really, get you using that software like an expert. So that is what the skill building workbook is. And you did a fabulous job. Someone
And
said,
thank you.
Charlotte said, this has been one of the very best seminars she has ever attended.
Oh, that is very generous. Thank you.
Right? Do your heart.
Yeah.
You are fantastic, Ain.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. This was fun. I'm sure we had a lot of viewers that had a great time.
Oh, yes, I've been steady asking questions. And for those of y'all who haven't, go ahead and get your comments in because we're going to pick a lucky winner very soon for a $100 Allbrands gift card. Y'all, I had to get out my personal embroiderer's compass to answer some of the questions about what stabilizer do you use for this or that. And this is a phenomenon. I love this. I love every product that Dime has. I just so happen to have to use this one for our virtual event today.
See how handy that is?
I use it all the time. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like we got some comments coming in. I am going to pick a random watcher. Oh, and thank you guys so much for the wonderful comments. We're so happy to have you, Ain and Eileen, on the show.
So nice.
Let's see. I see Cora Reimer Cruz, and I hope I said that correct. Cora Reimer Cruz, congratulations, you won. So just email me at events@allbrands.com. That's EVENTS@allbrands.com to claim your prize, and congratulations. And we have another giveaway too. So if any of you take advantage of the amazing deals below, I saw Perfect Embroidery Pro is normally like $4,000 and it's on sale for $17.99. Hello. If you take advantage of that awesome sale, you also have a chance to win another $50 allbrands.com gift card. And use code SAVE MONEY for free shipping within the continental US. Fabulous deals.
And they go for 48 hours.
Yep, 48 hours. Yeah, Barbara kind of froze, right? Barbara, oh, now she's back. Give us a little movement so we can see. Oh, she's kind of frozen. But I'm hoping everybody heard what she said. There she goes. Now she's back. Okay.
Yeah. So, did y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, thank you everyone so much for watching. I've loved this presentation. We can't wait for our next ones. We have them scheduled throughout the year. So please be sure to subscribe to allbrands.com newsletter to be notified of future events with Designs Machine Embroidery. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you, Ain. You did a great job. I always like to give her a round of applause. So, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Barbara, and thank you very much, Eileen. And thank you to everyone that tuned in today.
Yeah.